I think he agreed with me that steak's a little overrated. He just knows that a Steve Levy can't say that.
Why do you keep doing this? You spent the whole. What were you doing during the break? You were saying, "I believe Steve Levy has a steak chin."
That's why.
Like, what are you talking about?
He knows that he has a look of a guy that loves a steak, and he's got a Sports Center anchor. He's got all the things that a steak lover would be, and so if he actually agrees with me. He does. I mean,
what is a steak chin?
What does that mean? All Sports Center anchors outside of Randy Scott look like they love a good steak.
I agree with that, right? I agree with that. Definitely Randy Scott.
I don't know. I don't know if Linda Cohn loves a good steak.
Oh, no. Linda Cohn.
I just don't know.
Yeah, she loves potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Steak and potatoes, definitely.
Randy Scott definitely orders his steak well done. Like that. Like we all agree on that, right? Can we at least agree on that?
No, he's a fish guy.
He's a pescatarian.
Yeah, see? He's a fish guy.
Pescatarian. So, all right, let's do this then. Now we're here. Now we can't leave. Go ahead and go through the history of ESPN. You know, Boomer, like if I go all in with Chris Berman,
right,
you're going to have a hard time beating me, are you not?
In terms of steak chins?
In terms of, no, not steak chins. I don't know what Chris is doing with steak chins.
You don't think Steve Levy has a chin of a guy that looks like he loves steak?
Just please stop making that point. It's stupid. I don't.
I get it.
You've been talking about the steak chin for about 8 minutes, and it's stupid, and you need to stop.
Think Jackie Gleason, Dan.
All right, so I don't want to think Jackie Gleason.
His chin or just Jackie Gleason?
The chin.
Way to keep us modern again, Stugotz. Thank you.
Mike Greenberg doesn't love steak. Do we agree on that?
I don't want to play your game. You want to play the steak chin game. I want to, like Barry Melrose. You know, Barry Melrose has got to like a steak. Who are some people at ESPN who simply look to you like Damian Woody's got to like a steak, right?
Of course. I mean, Golick, obviously.
I just Googled a photo of Steve Levy, and I think this is actually a painting hanging up at a Smith & Woodland.
You agree about the chin, though, right?
I'm zooming in.
Hold on. Trevor Maddich for sure,
there
right?
You go.
Like Trevor Maddich comes in and eats it with his bare hand.
No doubt. Good one, Dano.
I mean,
thanks, Stugazzo.
On point with the chin. I can't push back on it.
Thank you. I mean, it does. He has a steak chin.
Of course he does. I mean, there are certain people who just have a steak chin. I mean, that's it.
Louis Riddick likes a good steak.
I don't know.
Yeah, Lou like he does.
Yeah, Lou does. I think he does.
Yeah.
How about Reese Davis? That's a tricky one.
Of course, Reese Davis loves his steak.
I'm not so certain.
Yeah.
I'm not certain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If they're a sports broadcaster,
yeah.
except for Randy Scott, they love steak.
You guys are always telling me that I don't give you enough time to do anything. So now you have 10 minutes to get me a parade of steak eaters and sports anchors. And
that's a lot of work.
I want to talk.
Tired.
I want to just ask a bunch of sports anchors.
Can I just call Randy Scott and confirm he's a pescatarian?
No, I want to ask them these questions on the air and go through a factory line of a variety of ESPN people to see if the way they look is indeed something that connects with what we think of how they look.
I could see Barry Melrose walking into a steakhouse, smoking a cigar, putting out the cigar in the steak, leaving it as garnish, and then eating the steak.
Yeah.
Who do you guys have better than Berman? Do you have better?
I don't think there's anyone better than Berman.
We're just doing thick people right now. Are there any thin people that love steak?
Reese Davis.
I think the thickness is part of what it is that makes someone look like a steak eater.
Charlie
I think that's
Steiner.
why Steve Levy looks like that.
Charlie Steiner's great. Trey Wingo loves a good steak.
Yeah, I'd call him, but he's in Hawaii right now.
Right,
Did he swim or sprint there from Miami?
See, all right, I got a good one. What does Kevin Nagandi think of steak? I don't think he likes it. I think he's just like, I could take it or leave it. It's good, but it's not something I need to have.
All right. Well, we're gonna assemble a series of people here to find out who are the steak eaters or who are the people who confirm what we think about what they look like. Because I'm not sure Louis Riddick likes a good steak. I feel like Louis Riddick is being careful there and doesn't want to have a lot of red meat. I feel like he's gonna be a conscious eater and he's doing a lot of plant-based stuff.
I think he enjoys a good wine, though.
There you go.
Got to pair it with the steak. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Well, if you think someone's a good steak person, you're going to tend to think they're a good wine person too. No,
not
Can't have one without the other.
necessarily.
No, can't have one without the other.
Wilbon loves a steak,
There you
right?
go. Now
Loves
that I
a
agree
steak.
with. That's
yeah.
obvious.
Loves a good
Yeah.
steak.
How about Mike McCarthy?
Of course.
okay, but what
Well,
are you
the
doing
chin.
there? That's
The
not.
steak
That's
chin.
outside of.
But
ESPN.
I don't think he enjoys wine.
You don't think of
I
Mike
agree.
McCarthy? Really? So you've got him as being a person that likes his steak, but probably steak and beer, right?
Ooh, also brats. He could crush brats, I would think.
For sure.
How did we end up here?
Well, you took us to brats and then immediately regretted it, and then you asked me how we ended up here. Like we were talking, I don't know. As an added bonus, you went outside of ESPN and just took McCarthy, and you were just trying to sabotage everything at every turn. How did we get here? The answer's always Billy. 2 minutes, get out of here.
Whoa! Wow.
What do you think? Do you think Rachel Nichols loves steak?
Yes. So does Brian Windhorst.
Yeah,
I don't know. No, Wendy, see, that's
How
the
about
rare
Woj?
one. No, Wendy does not. Wendy's
about
like,
Woj?
I prefer, yes. Well,
Get out of here.
Chicken cordon
I
bleu.
want you out of here, not shouting your bull from a distance. All of this being an elaborate filibuster to allow our producers the time to get you what we believe to be famed ESPN steak eaters. So Adam Schefter joins us on ESPN Radio. How does Adam Schefter feel about the steak? Is the steak overrated?
I'm not a steak eater. I'm
What?
one of the rare sports reporters, I guess, who doesn't like steak, guys. I'm just not a big steak eater.
That is shocking. Oh, thank you, Adam Schefter, for sharing your shocking opinion with us. All of us are floored by that. We know that Jay Glazer is out here eating steaks.
This began as a search to find the lone sportscaster that doesn't like steak, and out the box we found it.
Well, we thought Randy Scott was a vegan or a pescatarian. We gave him also a lot of plant-based stuff. So, Randy Scott, is the steak overrated?
No, it is not. I will eat Schefter steak. Give me a filet. Give me a bone in. This guy gets it. Medium. Let's go.
All right. So, Randy Scott,
You're not a pescatarian.
You cannot do this based on appearances. He's not a pescatarian. Right now, Mike, who have you offended? Whose DMs are you in that you've been offending?
I am offended. I am offended that you called me a pescatarian. How dare you, sir?
Okay. Thank you for being on with us, Randy. Appreciate your time. Jason Jackson, as we go through all of ESPN's history, he's got to be a steak eater, right? Like a total
I've had a steak with
Jason Jackson, is the steak overrated?
No, the steak is glorious. It's a path to heaven. And the difficult thing is I'm a black man with hypertension, so I can't have it as much as I want.
Okay. but you do agree that you look like a steak eater, right? You look like a man who enjoys a good steak.
You are what you eat, yes.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate your time. What do you think about Ariel Helwani, Stugotz? Does he look to you like a steak eater, like someone who will just throw down a bunch of steak?
Yeah. I think he loves steak, yes.
All right, Ariel Helwani, is the steak overrated?
Well, first I have to say this is an important conversation. I'm glad we're having it, guys. I'm still waiting for my recognition of saying that first in my first hit on television. I've been waiting 2 weeks for this recognition, so I'd like to give myself the recognition. I'm a steak eater, but only with two conditions attached to said eating. Extra well done and with Hunt's ketchup, not Heinz.
Get out of here.
No.
Get out of here.
No.
You just ruined the steak.
No.
I almost left my wife because of that.
Out of here,
I
man.
left my wife.
You've
Is this
lost
a
your
Canadian
mind.
thing?
Extra well done.
Well done.
Done.
You're a monster, Ariel Helwani.
You
Disgusting.
monster!
Oh,
Oh, my God!
Well done.
Horrifying.
Well done. Extra
Ketchup.
well done, not just well done. Well done
Oh.
is rare for me.
Poorly done.
All right. Yes.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but you do not like steak, sir.
Yes, you are a failure
Love
as a
it.
steak eater.
Love it.
No.
Oh my
With ketchup.
God. Horrifying.
Get out of here.
Just all right. I don't know what's just happened. Katie Nolan joins us. Sports with a question mark is the podcast. Does she look like a steak eater, a ravenous steak eater to you?
Yeah, I think Katie loves steak. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Katie, is the steak overrated?
No, of course not. Steak is the best. But thank you for keeping me on hold. So I had to hear that Ariel Helwani is a monster and Tom Brady is going to the Cowboys. I really appreciate
You
it.
got it. You got it.
Thank you for your time, Katie. Always appreciate that you allow us to waste your time. And now, what do you think about Pablo Torre from High Noon, guys? Oh, look at what's sweeping through the studio is dismay. Is Pablo Torre, does he look like he's a steak eater? Pablo, is the steak overrated?
So steak is my favorite food, or at least it was. My best meal I ever had was in Japan at a steak place called Shima. You go downstairs, you get a steak sandwich to go. It's delicious. It's the best. But now I'm kind of wondering, like, what is steak really, though? Like, existentially speaking.
Oh, for the love of God. Let's just go to commercial. Just go to commercial. Existential.
Ton of meat.
This show ain't free. Time for some ads.
The con of meat on the joke callback. Pablo Torre, when my dog died in my arms and I was sobbing at a stoplight, decided that was the time to tell me about the con of mammals and how it is that we shouldn't have a better relationship with dogs than we do with fish. Casper, people, it's the weekend. I am going to get some rest. I mean, my dog had just died.
That's amazing.
My dog had just died, and he's like, well, why don't you have that relationship with a fish? 20 years that dog was in my life.
Did you punch him in the face?
I had tears in my eyes. He ran away because he thought I would. He physically ran away.
What is steak really?
Tell the. All right, so real quick here, Joe Buck, does he look like a steak eater to you, Stugotz? He looks to me like he comes from a long family of steak-eating bucks.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so Joe Buck with us now. Chris Cody has alleged that the steak is overrated, Joe. Give us all your thoughts here.
All of my thoughts. It's going to be hard. How long is the show? I have so many thoughts on
this.
Okay,
all of them. I want all of them.
I think a lot about this. I think steak's a bit overrated, but I do like a good steak. I feel like it needs to be done in moderation. Pizza, there's great pizza that I look forward to. I don't know that I've ever looked forward to a great steak, but I do eat the hell out of steak periodically. That answer the question?
Yes,
all
perfect.
over the board,
Thank
Joe.
you for allowing us to waste your very valuable time. Thank you, sir.
No, I'm at the St. Louis Aquarium trying to keep an eye on my 1.5-year-old twins walking around with petting stingrays, and I'm answering questions about steak.
You better keep your eye on them. They are steak where you are.
Yeah, no. Where I am right now, they are currently being looked at as steak. So I know I'm all over the board. I think it's a bit overrated, but I'm not scared to eat it. Is that
yes, totally fair
like
appraisal.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing it with us. We appreciate it.
Yes, I feel so good about this. All right, thanks.
Now, we've got someone else to get to here on the steak front, but Mike is having arguments. He's getting people are busy. Kevin Nagandi is interrupting a Sports Center call right now. Is he arguing with you?
No, Kevin Nagandi thinks, for whatever reason, he thinks that we're just trying to trick him the entire time, but we can't get him because he's actually doing work, and so is Will Kane, who's filming Outside the Lines right now. But Will Kane, this is a shocking revelation, not his top meat. Wow. Steak is not Will Kane, the Texans' favorite meat. Yeah. He is a Texan through and through, a Dallas Cowboys fan. It's sort of in the life contract.
I feel like my point is being made here. It's good, but a lot of people can live without it.
What is Will Kane's favorite meat? If
he would rank it below barbecue beef and fish. Will Kane, pescatarian.
Fish.
What are you talking about?
That is blasphemy. How about a cubano? Do we have, how about Pedro Gomez? What do you think? If you look at Pedro Gomez, do you see a steak eater?
Loves a steak, yes.
All right, Pedro Gomez with us on ESPN Radio. Pedro, is steak overrated? Do you love a good steak? You look like you love a good steak.
You would be correct, Dan, as usual. Who doesn't? Which Cuban, by the way, doesn't eat steak?
Yes,
I want to know that.
He's so right about that.
But here's the thing, Pedro. Hi, Billy.
God.
There's different steaks. So, like, Cuban steak is like thin steak, like a palomilla
steak. Palomilla, but that's a palomilla. No, I understand. Yeah. But it's a steak, number one, and so it qualifies. It's in the classification. But no, I enjoy going out for a good steak. Absolutely.
Are you a palomilla guy or churrasco guy?
No, I'm a palomilla guy. Come on, man, old school. The churrascos didn't even exist when Dan and I were kids.
How about Vicente Panizado?
That wasn't even a thing.
He's so right about that. How about Vicente Panizado?
I'll go for an empanizado, but I prefer the palomilla.
Oh, wow. You strike me as a lechon guy.
I'll do a milanesa every once in a while too.
All right.
Nesa and lechon?
Milanesa.
Are you still following Barry Bonds? Or
no, that's been 13 years, boys. 13 years since he played his last game.
He should be in the Hall of Fame, though, right, Pedro? Should steroid-addled guys like Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame?
I think you know where I stand on this. My answer is no.
Thank you for being on with us, Pedro. We appreciate it.
This is it. You don't talk to me for years.
It has been so long. It has been so long since I talked to him.
Pedro, if you encountered a genie, what would your 3 wishes be?
Oh, come on.
That's a good question.
It's hard off the cuff. It's very hard off the cuff.
It is. I need a little time.
All right. We'll get your thoughts on this next segment.
All right.
Thank you, Pedro. We appreciate it. Or in 15 years. Or I'll talk to you again in 15 years. Bienvenido Gandhi with us here. Are you a steak eater? Do you look like a steak eater? Where do we come down on the Gandhi? Do we feel like
torn? We're torn.
We're torn. So answer the question: is steak overrated?
Being from Philadelphia, you know I'm not going to say it's overrated, but I got to tell you, I haven't had a steak in a while. I stopped eating red meat, so I'm a chicken eater right now. Chicken and fish. So I'm not Randy Scott pescatarian, but chicken and fish. But when I had steak, I want to tell you, Ariel Helwani's a monster. Who uses Hunt's ketchup?
It's disgusting.
You go with the Heinz ketchup.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh, no.
You get out of here, Nagandi.
Wow, what is the matter with both of you?
Do you eat it well done, too?
First off, Hunt's no, nothing well done. That's idiot stuff. I'm telling you, no one uses Hunt's ketchup ever.
You're right about that. If you have to use ketchup, it has to be Heinz over Hunt's. You are right.
He's
about
a Pennsylvania guy. They're always going to land on Heinz.
Yep.
Yeah, Hunt's is garbage. It's Heinz. By the way, thank you for spelling my name the right way, too. I appreciate that.
Did we not spell it correctly on television? Thank you for being...
No, it has happened a couple of times here at the network in my 13 years, so you never know. Sometimes it's hit or miss.
All right, thank you for being on with us, Kevin, and allowing us to waste your time.
I got a full text from Reese Davis with a full breakdown. Love steak, but always order the filet. When you get lured into other cuts, you risk disappointment.
Thank you for that wisdom, as always, from your meeting. He's in a production meeting for next year's championship game right now. That's how ESPN does that. And now we bring in the authority of all authorities who will answer the question in the only way that it can be answered. I think we can all agree around here that the universal symbol for looking like you enjoy a good steak is Greg Cody's brother, Uncle Dick Cody. So he joins us now on ESPN Radio. Uncle Dick, can you please tell us the correct way to eat a steak and how wonderful steaks are and how embarrassed you are by Chris Cody saying that the steak is overrated?
I don't think the steak is overrated. I actually enjoy a properly seasoned and properly cooked ribeye, and I like a little lobster tail on the side, and that's all I want on my plate, both heavily drenched in butter.
Exactly as we thought it was. Thank you. Perfectly done, Uncle Dick Cody. If you care for efficiency to replace Billy Gill, there might be a job opening there soon.
He sounds so much better than my dad, and he's 9 years older.
I was going to say replace Greg.
I know. Greg's on a disco cruise next week. Can we bring in Dick?
You guys want to bring in Uncle Dick Cody?
Please.
He's going
to have a Cody on a Tuesday.
He's going.
I forgot my leisure suit.
All right. See you later. Thank you for being on with us, Uncle Dick.
I'm currently fighting with Ariel Helwani on Twitter.
Well, you should be.
What's worse, honestly, the well done or the ketchup?
The ketchup.
Oh, the ketchup.
What he said was
well done,
shocking.
Pretty egregious.
No, but he didn't just do well done.
Egregious.
Mike, he didn't do just well done. He went to the extremes of well done. He said it's got to be totally charred.
No.
He likes the steak. Like when I'm finished cooking my steak, what I scrape off the grill is what Ariel Helwani likes to eat.
It's disgusting. And then in ketchup, like he's basically eating charcoal shards, isn't he? It's disgusting.
With ketchup.
Shards.
Money. Did we come up with a conclusion to this? Because we had a whole bunch of people call in, and the original starting point on the conversation was who in the history of ESPN looks most like they enjoy a good steak. Have we knocked off Chris Berman?
I don't think we have. No. I think it's Boomer.
I think we were just sent reeling by a variety of facts during the course of this investigation. One, I mean, come on, Schefter's not a steak eater? That's a bit of a surprise, is it not?
Crazy.
And then Helwani, I don't even know what to do with that. I've lost respect for Ariel Helwani, is all I can tell you.
All right.
Bill Parcells.
Oh, wow.
Oh, history of the company. Bill Parcells probably enjoys a good steak.
Tuna.
No, a good steak, I feel like, is what he would enjoy more than anything. I don't think of him as like a tuna guy.
Big tuna.
No, not big tuna, not small tuna. Big steak is what it is that he likes. At LeBatard Show is how you vote on Twitter. What happened? Gabriel, it's your fault.
Who's on first?
I know. We were trying to do it, but it didn't work. It didn't work because he just went to his one note and didn't give me anything but tuna and then big tuna. Like Dan Patrick looks like he enjoys a good steak.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, he does. History of the cup.
What do you guys want? I'm on vacation.
We want to know if steak is overrated.
No, it's not overrated.
That's it. Okay.
It's Greggy. He's on vacation.
He's
Leave him alone.
He's on vacation.
Does Steve Levy look like he has his portrait hanging up on the wall at Smith & Walensky?
Yes. Yeah.
I have a great client partnership with Traeger Grills. That's what they do. They cook meat. They cook steak. That's what I love.
Okay.
They do. What is wrong with you guys?
All right, thank you. We appreciate
we
appreciate that's a strong yes from Dan Patrick on vacation.
Stop bothering me.
See you later.
Nice blog, by the way.
He came on our show and did a live read. Neil Everett looks like he enjoys a good steak.
Yeah.
Neil Everett, tell us all of your thoughts on steak and Chris Cody's assessment that the steak is overrated.
Is the 40 burger overrated? I mean, is the steak overrated? Come on. No chance. Give me a buffalo ribeye, and I'm surrounded by vegans. So, no, the steak is not overrated. Ratings are overrated.
He sounds
not overrated.
He sounds like he enjoys a good steak, right? That voice, those pipes. And you are in Los Angeles. You're surrounded by vegans.
Oh, God. Give me a vegan steak now. That's the new thing, which is, it makes no sense. Along with this segment, probably. But no.
Right.
Yeah, steak, not overrated.
All right. More steak for you, though. That vegan.